You check your phone, 4 minutes since the last time. You open Instagram, scroll, feel a hollow ache. This ritual is making billions miserable. Here's the psychology behind why. Social media promised connection, but something is off. You scroll through photos of perfect vacations, flawless breakfasts, and career milestones, and you feel worse. This isn't accidental. Platforms are designed to maximize engagement, not happiness. Every like, every notification triggers a tiny dopamine hit, keeping you hooked. But the real problem lies in how these tools warp our sense of self. Psychologists call it social comparison, the automatic tendency to measure your life against others' curated highlights. And the result? A vague, persistent emptiness. You're not alone in feeling this. Research shows that the more time people spend on social media, the higher their rates of depression and anxiety. The machine runs on your attention, and it's draining your well-being. In 2004, Facebook launched with a utopian vision: to connect the world. Today, we spend over 2 hours a day on social media, yet loneliness and depression are at record highs. The U.S. Surgeon General calls social media a profound risk to youth mental health. Here's the paradox: we've never been more connected and never more alone. The problem isn't connection itself, it's the type of connection. Platforms encourage passive scrolling over real interaction. You watch friends' lives unfold, but you rarely engage meaningfully. This passive consumption triggers upward social comparison, making you feel inadequate. A landmark study found that Facebook users who compared themselves to others reported lower self-esteem. The more you scroll, the more you feel left out. Psychologist Leon Festinger proposed that humans have an innate drive to evaluate themselves by comparing with others. On social media, this drive is weaponized. Every scroll presents a curated highlight reel, vacations, promotions, engagements, while your own messy reality stays hidden. This asymmetry creates upward social comparison, leaving you feeling inadequate. A 2014 study found that participants who spent more time on Facebook reported lower self-esteem, and this effect was driven by social comparison. The more they compared, the worse they felt. Even after controlling for baseline self-esteem, the platform itself caused the decline. Another study tracked mood over 2 weeks and found that passive Facebook use, scrolling without interacting, predicted declines in well-being. Active use, like posting or commenting, had no negative effect. The culprit is not connection, but passive consumption of others' curated lives. Social media platforms are engineered to maximize engagement. Their business model depends on keeping your eyes on the screen, and they use the same psychological principles as slot machines: variable rewards. In the 1950s, B.F. Skinner showed that rats press a lever more persistently when the reward is unpredictable. Social media works the same way. You pull down to refresh. Will there be a like? A comment? The unpredictability keeps you hooked. Each dopamine spike reinforces the behavior, even when the overall experience leaves you empty. Stanford psychiatrist Anna Lemke calls social media a digital drug. It delivers dopamine at high speed, and our brains aren't evolved to handle that. Over time, you need more likes, more notifications to feel good. When you don't get them, you feel withdrawal. It's a cycle of craving, consumption, and crash. FOMO is more than a buzzword. It's a clinically studied construct. Researchers define it as a pervasive apprehension that others might be having rewarding experiences from which you are absent. Social media triggers and amplifies this fear. You see a party you weren't invited to, a trip you couldn't afford, a success you haven't achieved. The result is a chronic sense of inadequacy. Studies show that higher FOMO scores predict lower mood and life satisfaction. Social media use both causes and worsens FOMO, creating a feedback loop. The more you scroll, the more you feel left out. And the more you feel left out, the more you scroll to check what you're missing. It's a trap that keeps you glued to the screen, even as it erodes your happiness. One of the most insidious effects of social media is its impact on sleep. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, but the problem goes deeper. Social media before bed activates your brain's threat detection system, keeping you alert. A study found that adolescents who used social media more, especially at night, reported poorer sleep quality, higher anxiety, and lower self-esteem. The relationship is bidirectional. Poor sleep predicts more social media use, and vice versa, creating a downward spiral. As one sleep expert puts it, the light from your phone isn't the main problem, it's the content. You're reading something that makes you anxious or jealous, and then you try to sleep with your nervous system in fight or flight mode. This cycle can feel impossible to break. Understanding the psychology behind social media's misery is the first step toward reclaiming your well-being. The research points to clear solutions: reduce passive scrolling, engage actively with content, set boundaries around usage, and prioritize real-world connections. Studies show that limiting social media to 30 minutes a day can significantly reduce loneliness and depression. Turning off notifications breaks the variable reward loop, and replacing scrolling with activities that promote flow, like exercise, reading, or face-to-face conversation, can restore your brain's natural reward system. You don't need to quit entirely, but by becoming aware of the traps, you can use social media on your own terms, rather than letting it use you. If you found this valuable, consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. Understanding the trap is the first step to freedom.